should close that door, huh?
It's okay. That way the cats can escape if they need to.
But the light isn't bothering us?
Mm-mm.
And we are live. Welcome to the Grandmasta Gains podcast. We rebranded
Okay.
according to Paul.
That's fine by me.
But you are still beautiful, and you are still beautiful. So welcome to the Grandmasta Gains podcast. Our guest today is Jordan, and hopefully Jordan will always be our guest. So the goal of this podcast is to promote health and happiness. And I say health first is because they go hand in hand, but good health leads to happiness. So first and foremost, I want you to focus on your health. Once you're healthy, once you have proper energy levels, your body and your mind is operating properly, then you can focus on making yourself the happiest. Because if you're not healthy, if you're putting poison in your brain, poison in your body, you don't have the proper energy levels and the proper brain functions to have emotional control. Yeah. So if your hormones are all off because of the poison you're putting in your body's unhealthy, weak, you're not going to have the proper judgment to make the decisions in life to make yourself happier. So this podcast is the number one focus is to promote health and happiness, because health is the number one way you can reach happiness, by becoming really healthy. What do you think, Jordan, while you're playing with your healthy cat that didn't die?
My cat's sitting in my lap. I agree with all of that. I, for one, can say that quitting drinking has definitely, well, that was my main reason for quitting drinking, was my mental health. Because it was putting such a, it was taking such a toll on it.
And you got off your antidepressants as well, right?
Yes.
Did you quit drinking after that, or did you quit drinking and then you got off your antidepressants?
First I quit drinking, then I got off antidepressants.
Okay. Hell yeah. We're going to dive deep into that topic in a second. So, since you brought up drinking, today's topic of discussion is alcohol. How eliminating alcohol has affected us as individuals and as a couple. How's that sound?
Good.
Pretty good, juicy topic, right?
Yeah.
So, since you started with key point number one, let's
Sorry
talk.
if I jumped ahead.
No, that's badass. That's awesome, because, well, obviously we discussed the topic beforehand, so it was in your mind. So yeah, let's start with you. I mean, you've already talked about how you quit drinking and you got off your antidepressants. Let's dive in a little bit deeper, just as an individual. How long has it been since you drank?
Memorial Day will be 2 years.
Oh,
So a year and a half-ish.
year and a half-ish.
Year in 8 months or something like that.
Nice. Why did you decide to stop drinking?
It was really creating a lot of anxiety and depression. I think it was exasperating like my already underlying issues. And on top of that, it was also a big part in my fitness journey. I thought, well, it's not that hard for me to not drink. Like, I'd rather save those calories and eat my calories. I guess food was more important to me. Yeah.
So, number one, just basically you talked about just your fitness journey, just to help with that.
Yeah.
Well, nice. That's a good reason to start. And so, when you were starting, when you made that decision, you didn't really focus on all the other benefits that you were going to get by quitting alcohol. You were just focused on all right, it's going to make me look good and increase the muscle mass and the body, decrease speed up the muscle building process and increase the fat loss process.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a pretty cool approach to start. Now, a year and a half into it, how has the fat loss and muscle building process been compared right now when you're sober compared to when you were drinking?
Oh, it's a lot different. Obviously, it's a lot better. When I was still drinking, when I started working out with you, I was still drinking. I think it was like 6 to 8 months on your program. I wasn't drinking like a lot. I guess I was more of a binge drinker. It was more like on the weekends, like rage if you had like a crazy week, like go nuts and have fun and let loose and all of that. But whenever I did that too, I would make worse judgments on what I was putting in my body in terms of my diet. It's the like when you're drunk, like you don't care, you're going to eat some like greasy carne asada burrito. And then when you're hungover the next day, you're probably going to eat some more junk food to like try and make yourself feel better.
Okay, that makes complete sense. I mean, I had a a very tough time when I was drinking alcohol too to maintain a low percentage of body fat because I would just get drunk and pig out on the weekends. So you made a pretty good point about how taking out alcohol helps you reach your fitness goals faster.
Yes, I definitely stay more disciplined. I mean, just not drinking alcohol in itself is discipline.
So
So you're practicing your discipline.
So okay, that's good because like it was challenging for you to say no to alcohol, something that you were so used to doing during the week and especially on the weekends. That once you say no to something that's such a big part of your habit and your routine and your social life, that it's easier to say no to food that's not good for you and that's detrimental to your goals.
Yes.
Good point. So what do you say to a person if you're like, all right, I mean, I see that you quit alcohol for very vain reasons. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if a person says that, all right, you're just wanting to like look sexy, drop a little bit of pounds, and then increase muscle mass. And that's all good and all. Okay, I get it. But I don't care much about that. And I love drinking and going out on the weekends. Should I still keep doing it?
No.
Why not?
Well, one of my other main reasons was my mental health. And I feel like...
Did I miss that? Did you say it the first time?
I did, but it's totally fine.
I was looking at myself in that mirror. I promise.
It's okay. I got distracted by a cat earlier and jumped straight to alcohol.
Okay, all right.
So, whatever.
I look really sexy in that mirror, though. All right, anyways.
Okay. Yeah, it was my mental health. For some reason, I started to really think about my behaviors when I'm drunk. Like, what do I look like to other people? Do I look out of control? Do I look stupid? Do I sound stupid? Like, there were a lot of these weird underlying anxieties to the point where, like, when I would start to feel a buzz, I would get a panic attack because I instantly felt like I was, like, out of control of myself, even if I wasn't. And that really bothered me. And I would have a lot of guilt after, what do they call it? When you have guilt after a hangover?
I know, like, a little bit of white people saying...
Anxiety.
Like,
hangover anxiety. That's what I would get, a lot of that.
You guys have a name for it?
Well, I don't know. Instagram, like, made it up or something.
Shouldn't you have stopped the first time you had the anxiety?
I should have, but
so
you know
that's
what?
I was experiencing the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you realize it's terrible?
But that's the thing is it's a vicious cycle. Like, you drink... You feel guilty, you feel like caca, and then what is your crutch or your like known behavior to cheer yourself up, make yourself feel better is then drinking again. And it wasn't until I broke that cycle that I stopped drinking that I finally like came out of this cloud and realized like that whole time as I was going through that cycle over and over and over again, my mind and my emotions and everything were very cloudy. So there was clarity in the end of it. And I feel as well, now that I've made it past a year and 6 months, that there's still these like milestones that happen where I'm like, whoa, I can't believe, you know, like there's more realizations that come the further you get into sobriety.
So what you're saying is like after you go a few months, clear your head, spend some weekends sober, and then you reflect back on those times on the weekends and what you did and how you acted and what you said and it doesn't mean that you were just going around fucking causing drama and all that stuff, but just in even generally speaking, the nights that you thought were good,
Yeah.
you know, that were decent and nothing bad or crazy happened. What you're saying is you were just reflecting back on what type of individual you were.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't resonate with who you are.
At all. Not at all anymore. And that was the funnest thing to do. The next day you wake up with, you know, you spent the night at your friend's house, you wake up, you laugh about the night before. Ha ha ha, so funny. We did this, we did that. Oh my God, remember this, remember that. And like, honestly, when I think about some of these times now, I just cringe. It is really hard to look at this far out of it. But maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. Like I was younger and I didn't know any better. And I was, like I said, stuck in that cloud.
And everybody around you was doing the same thing.
And everyone was doing the same thing. And when you're around a bunch of people doing the same thing, like no one's holding each other accountable for their crap. And it's just, I can be like this. I can be a degenerate because no one here is going to judge me. And it's the same thing for them.
Mm-hmm. So, wow, if you really look at the pattern, so these things that you're talking about, that you're realizing that those things that you're doing and how you're acting and just the life that you're living where you go out and party and get drunk and do dumb shit and just waste your money, put poison in your body. It was a waste and you're better off not doing that. But the crazy thing is that you weren't thinking about any of that stuff when you actually quit drinking. You actually just wanted to do it because you had a physical goal, right? Like or a fitness goal that you wanted to reach. So where I'm going at with is like the reasons that you're describing right now, like the anxiety and feeling better, having clarity, being a better person, not relating to the person that you are when you're drinking. All those things are a lot more powerful than all those things are more powerful of a reason to quit drinking than just losing some body fat.
Yeah.
But even you didn't think about that stuff. And just to be really honest, I had stopped drinking just because of that too, just to get abs. Because I was like, man, I just don't want to be a fat
No,
trainer.
I really stopped because of my anxiety.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
I stopped twice.
Oh, okay.
So the first time I stopped, that was legit because of my anxiety and my depression. Like I could see how it was feeding it over and over and over again.
And
so
how
I
long
wanted
ago
to
was
stop.
that?
It was before COVID because it was when COVID hit that I was like, well, I guess I'll just start drinking a little bit again. What can it hurt if I have one or two here and there? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. No, you're right. It was anxiety, and that's about the time I started my fitness journey. So it did go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And then so I started drinking again, a little bit here and there. I started working out with you, and then you and I together as friends were like, "This is stupid. Why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. You want to stop?" I think I remember we were at the gym, and I said, "Let's just stop. You want to stop? I'll stop with you," because I already knew I could do it. I had done it before. Mm-hmm. And it's always nice to do it with somebody else. I mean, it's challenging to have no one in your life that doesn't drink because everything revolves around drinking in our society. Every event, every meal, every holiday, every freaking thing revolves around alcohol. Mm-hmm. So to have someone to do it with is helpful because you just have someone to go pal around with and find sober activities.
I was boring as hell initially, but it's nice having one other person.
Yeah.
I mean, it still gets boring sometimes, but it's like nice having like one other person that you can do sober stuff with. And then the point that I was trying to make, that I was going round and round in circles with, is that the best way to say it, when I was talking about that you started because of a superficial reason, which you didn't. It was like half and half, like me starting just because I wanted to get abs, and then there were other reasons too. But the point really that I'm trying to make is that the easiest way to say it is that it wasn't until we were sober for a few months, like 4, 5, 6 months, and then even a year, and then we keep coming to more and more realizations of more of these points. It wasn't until we were sober for a few months where we actually realized and figured out all the reasons we should stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what I'm trying to say, I was in that rut. One of the biggest things, and even when you were in that rut of drinking regularly, even if you're drinking just on the weekends and getting faded on the weekends, to me, that's drinking regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Because try pulling one weekend out.
Mm-hmm.
If you get drunk, if you're drinking every single weekend, try not drinking one weekend. Your body physically and mentally and emotionally is going to act exactly like an alcoholic. But we didn't get out of that funk just because we had all these amazing reasons to like be better human beings and feel better, get rid of anxiety. It was like hand in hand, okay, it's going to be good and let's try it out. But mostly we want to stay lean. So what I'm saying is like it's really, really dangerous, that it's almost impossible to get out of that rut unless you have and we didn't really have a good enough reason. It's just we kind of fell into it. I was thinking about it for a long time, and I was getting influenced by a lot of online how should I say it, influencers and motivational coaches and all that stuff, like Jordan Peterson talking about giving up alcohol. So I was just watching a bunch of stuff, and I wanted to get abs and wanted to improve my business too by showing a better physique. So I just kind of fell into it, but it wasn't like a very profound conscious decision that, hey, this is really bad for me, I want to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest problem, is because like you don't understand how important it is until you've actually done it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people will just go the rest of their lives not even trying it out, because they'll quit for a week or two. Their life isn't going to make that big of an improvement. They're not going to go without alcohol long enough to even realize these fucking benefits.
Yeah.
But
and like I said before, like I feel like the longer I've gone, the clearer it becomes. But it does take an initial like good chunk of time to like clear your head and break that cycle. Get your hormones and everything in check, like your whole body back in order, so that your brain is like functioning properly and you're making smart decisions and you're, emotionally stable.
And how long do you think it took after you quit drinking for you to like really wake up and start realizing how much better you actually feel?
I mean, this one's a tough question for me. You can probably answer it better. I think at least like a month to 3 months, you're going to notice a huge shift. But also like I quit and then I got off antidepressants. So, so then I had a whole nother like range of like emotional stuff to like figure out.
How long did you, after you quit drinking, did you get off your antidepressants?
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Like,
dude,
11 months.
you were probably noticing. I didn't notice anything. You're like just.
When what? When I got off antidepressants?
Yeah, you told me about how you were feeling off and all that stuff.
No, it was terrible.
It
was the absolute worst thing. I didn't do it right though. Like, definitely I don't know, do it the right way.
Fuck yeah, you did it the right way. You got off, right?
I got
You-
off,
You
but
didn't
I
do
didn't
it
like wean off the way I should have, and it really screwed with my brain. I honestly feel like now, that was last April. I feel like now I finally am feeling the most stable.
Did you get off antidepressants and I got off steroids the same time?
Yes, it was the same time.
Hell yeah. So I was mellowing it out and you were getting all crazy. So it's like, it was just fine. It felt the same. Okay. So anyways, anxiety's better. Off the, uh, anxiety's better. Off the antidepressants. Obviously getting leaner. What about money?
Yeah, you and I were talking the other night at the dinner table, and you were like, "Why don't we have $100,000 just sitting in the bank account?"
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, "We spent that all drinking in our 20s." I'm like, "Yeah, right. That's a lot of money." And then we did the math. And guys, it is very, very possible. It broke down to
No, it
like,
is possible.
It broke down to like you're spending $96 a week on alcohol, which is in today's world, what is that, like 4 drinks?
Yep. So
a week.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So yeah, we've probably spent about 100,000.
Like honestly, like think about that. If you're going out all the time and drinking, I'm sure you're wondering why you're broke all the time. Add it up. Look at it as a real number on a piece of paper or on your calculator on your phone. Like look at the number. That should be enough to quit too. It's such a waste. You go out, you blow all this money. You think you're going to have this wild, adventurous time, let loose, be free, like free spirit and soul.
Anybody who's tied on
And
cash
you're just
is
broke and then depressed.
Who puts alcohol in their system is a fucking idiot. Like straight up. If you tell me that you're struggling for cash or business is down, you're not getting a lot of shifts at work, and I see a beer in your hand, you're like, I'm not even taking you seriously.
You're not trying very hard.
No, absolutely not. Because I talk about, like, I was talking to one of my clients today, like, and they're like, and we were talking about how everybody's equal. We don't judge people based on like whether they're rich or they're not very rich and all that stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but I'll still judge a broke person. Like, why? I'm like, look, if you're having a rough patch in your life, like my business got wiped out in 2020. Yeah, like I'm taken out, but I wouldn't call myself broke. Like when I mean broke, that means like someone's just always short on cash, and this has been the state for years, right? They just stay. Like, look, I have no multi-millionaires who have huge ups and huge downs. That's different. But something that just settles for a brokey life. You just fucking, strapped for cash.
It's a zero ambition attitude.
That person I'm gonna judge, because think about that person's weekend. Like what are they doing? What okay, after that they're done with their 8 hours of work. Let's say they have a 9 to 5 job. What do they do after 5 fucking p.m.? Okay, let's say they get done at 5 p.m. Friday night. What do they do from 5 p.m. Friday night till midnight Sunday night? They're just pissing it away.
Partying.
Drinking, partying, eating garbage, watching television, watching movies, going to fucking concerts, hanging out. So like brokies, constant brokies. I'm not talking about if you're tied on cash like me. I tell people I'm broke. I spend my money on food, my motorcycles, my girlfriend, and
your
if they're important and business. Dude, I'm wearing this shirt that a female client. This belongs to my Liz. Shout out to Liz.
Liz's mom.
Liz's mom's. I don't spend years. Jordan bought me this new watch, but like, dude, if you're strapped, but at any point in time, I always have money for anything I need, ever. You need something, I need something. Somebody else wants to buy a cigar, whatever. But if I was strapped for cash, I wouldn't be. That's why I stopped drinking. I'm like, bro, I'm fat and I'm broke. There's no reason for me to be drinking. I'm just gonna stop drinking until I'm not fat and I'm not broke. You know what happened? In 3 months, I was shredded, All my bills were paid. I started saving up money, like completely. I was a completely different person. I felt better. I looked better. I was talking better. I was walking better. People respected me more. And my bank account just went boop, 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 boop. Like with all that free time, within like 6 months of being sober, I wrote a book.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
It just got published a few months ago. Shout out to Paul.
You took that time. I think for you it was challenging to find things to do to keep such a smart brain like this engaged.
Well, you can say crazy.
The maniac brain. He had to fill his time, but he did it with things that were productive and going to bring him some sort of value to his business, or it wasn't just like farting around, hanging out with the wrong people. Like it was intentional.
Yeah, because the thing is, alcohol just makes you enjoy shit that you don't really enjoy.
Yeah.
Go out on Saturday night. Don't drink. Oh, I have a lot of fun not drinking. Fuck you. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You'll do it like once or twice.
To go out and be sober, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No.
It's really hard to be around drunk people when you're not drunk. Like it gets to a certain level where it's like, okay, it's time for me to go.
Last year, I went to a music festival without ecstasy and drugs and alcohol. It sucked. And then I tried seeing one of my little kitty cat is down here. What's up? And then she's in the hut down there. And then I went to see one of my favorite dubstep artists. Right, shout out to Zombie. He was awesome. But I went over there and I just went there and I was with a buddy of mine who used to party and do drugs too. And we were both sober and we were in there for an hour. And I'm like, bro, you want to like just go home and like eat some steaks? He's like, yeah. So we went and got some steaks and ate some food and he went home. Oh like it's just complete. I'm like, I was just doing all that stuff. I'm like, man, I love going to clubs. I love going to bars. I'm like a big beer guy and this and that. Bro, I was just drunk. Enjoying bullshit that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And I stopped drinking and I don't like any of this stuff. What do I like? I don't know. I like talking about strength and conditioning and helping people shred it. And I'm like, oh, what if you wrote a book and those people who can't afford your training, at least they can read about your training methodology. Boop, 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 boop. Book done, published. I'm an author now.
Yeah. He turned himself from an alcoholic to an author.
Yeah. Dude, but seriously, within 3 months, dude, I was it's like when I was first stopping, it took me such a long time to stop it because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Everybody drinks. Like everything revolves around, you go out to a bar, you drink. You go out to a birthday party, you drink. Brunch, mimosas, like all that stuff. Like I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? So that's why I just it took me such a long time to stop. But when I stopped, literally 3 months later, I'm like, what the fucking fuck was I doing for 20 fucking years?
Yeah.
Like literally,
It's
I
a
made
hard
such
realization.
a profound change. I'm sorry, in 3 months, I'm peeled out, feeling amazing. Dude, I didn't sleep through the night for 20 years. And I couldn't go to sleep. I would have to take shots and smoke a bunch of weed to just somehow like fall asleep around midnight. And then I would wake up at 3 and then I would dry heave and then I would have to smoke weed or take another shot and go back to bed. And then I wake up at 5. Makes me sound like an alcoholic. Okay, even if I'm not drinking, it just even if I'm on 4 hours of sleep, I lay in bed, my brain's all over the place. I can't relax and I have such a tough time. I finally fall asleep and then 2 or 3 hours later, I wake up in the middle of the night. And for years, dude, like my eyes were sunken in. I had puffy eyes going to the gym and I just couldn't sleep. And within 3 months, dude, you've seen me.
You should do a side by side.
I black out. Yeah. Picture?
Yeah, because he showed me one recently of when he was still drinking and your face looks completely different and your eyes were puffy. They're not like that at all anymore.
Yeah, dude. I used to hate going to work, hate Mondays. I wake up, I can't wait to jump. No, actually, cold showers suck. But like, can't wait to get that cold shower over with and go to work. Like, I love being alive. I'm always happy. And dude, the bank account. Dude, like 3x income in a year and a half. Like, it's insane.
Yep.
That's why this podcast has ramped up. I have my book out. All of that. You're going to get a ring. Okay, I'm going on a rant, dude. But the point is, within 3 months of being sober, I realized how dangerous and how wasteful that stuff was.
Yep.
Are you lost for words?
I'm not at a loss for words, but I'm just taking that in.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go to the next topic. So we've talked about how it's helped us as individuals. Let's talk about relationship as my girlfriend. How do you think? Because like we were both sober when we started dating.
This is the first relationship I've ever been completely sober in, and I bet a lot of people can't say the same, that they've ever even tried that. Like, unless you were not of drinking age, you know, most people here or wherever you're listening from have drank while dating someone, getting to know someone. That was like the biggest crutch, dude. Like, go out, get a drink, loosen up, feel comfortable enough to talk about yourself, like the whole thing. Like, that is what my entire dating life before relied on. And that's where I would meet people. I'd meet them out at bars or wherever the hell, parties, whatever, through other friends that were partying, whatever.
I probably had a very limited dating life compared to yours, but whatever it was, it did involve alcohol.
See, yours was limited compared to mine, he says, but it still involved a ton of alcohol.
Yes.
A ton.
Uh-huh. But yeah, dude, it was actually kind of uplifting and awkward and kind of scary at the same time, but
Yes.
but at least it was
honest
real.
and genuine. Yeah.
Genuine and real.
Yeah.
It was not like, oh, we had a drink, now we're getting touchy and feel, let me grab your chi-chi type of shit. That's literally how all these relationships start. You know, you go out, like, hang out. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. But they're fine. The cat's underneath the table. But yeah, dude, like, you loosen up, flirt, have a couple of drinks. I'm like, bro, really? That's how you're finding a girlfriend? That's how you're finding a wife or a husband?
Real.
You know, go out, get drunk, loosen up a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean? Sober the fuck up. Get to your senses. Look at the individual. What kind of a person is this? Are they looking for a long-term relationship or a one-night stand? Do they have a job? Do they have a criminal record? You know, what are their past relationships? What are you getting into? Did they key their boyfriend's car last time? Did this guy try to hit his girlfriend? None of that shit. Oh, let's get a drink. Oh, he's sexy. I'm sexy. Let's see what happens.
You know, I think this really in the process of not drinking too, you're finding your real true self and you're improving upon that. And that's something you always talk about, is becoming your best self to be a good person to the type of person you want.
Yeah. So you're going out there, getting drunk. You're not your best self. The person is over there. They're doing the same thing. They're not like in their optimum health, their optimal state of mind. Mm-hmm. And you put two subpar human beings together, you're gonna get a subpar relationship. Yeah. Like, there's no way we would still be together if you were drinking. Absolutely not.
No.
Dude, I can be a dick sometimes, and I make impulsive decisions, and I can be aggressive. And like alcohol, just makes it worse. You know, people already comes with positives and negatives. People already have flaws, and now you're putting something in your body that the your partner isn't well, you're putting something in your body that's gonna worsen all the things that your partner is not aware of. You know, when you just get into a relationship, you're coming in with a lot of baggage. You're only like, whenever you get into a relationship, it's based on the best version of both characters. It's, you find out the bad parts of each other's characters after the relationship starts, right? When you dive deep into the relationship, months, years into it, and you pour a little bit more alcohol in there, when that shit starts coming out,
Toxic.
you know, it's because here's the thing. Before you start dating and before you commit to each other, you're just on your best behavior because the relationship is volatile. Once you commit to each other, once you become comfortable, once you know that the other person isn't going to go anywhere, that's when you start bringing out all those negative characteristics that you only open up to the people who get close enough for you. And now when those things start coming out, and you're having a little bit of volatility in the relationship, and you're having some problems that you need to work through, if you have alcohol in your system, those problems are going to get worse. They're going to stay unresolved, and they might blow up to the point where both of you end up quitting the relationships. Wow, that's some intelligent shit right there, huh? There's lots of English. My mom would be proud. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it fucking, like, I know a bunch of I mean, I basically hang out with people for a living, and everybody has ups and downs in relationships, but dude, most of the time it's always something regarding alcohol.
Yep.
And just little shit that shouldn't even have happened.
Right.
Because like, you're already gonna, like, we have issues. Yeah, we go through stuff, we have to work through stuff, and we're sober. So now, as a person, two people who don't drink alcohol, who already go through shit that they have to work with, dude, I can't even imagine what the regular couples who have drinks, like, we've had some fights where like, sometimes I was wrong, most of the time I'm wrong, because I just like to stir shit up.
Well, we got it on video.
Yeah, right. We'll just skip this part. I'm gonna edit this too, but it's so far deep into the episode, I'm not gonna go in there and find it. But like, and we have to have some serious discussions, and sometimes it gets heated. But if there was alcohol present, it would be a complete disaster.
Oh, it would be horrible.
Complete disaster.
And for me, I'm super emotional, and when I get drunk, I'm just like, you can't disrespect me, you know? So, I mean, I'd be throwing things, I'd be screaming. It would be bad.
And then I can be really disrespectful sober, and then you give me alcohol, and this, like, it's just
It's not
worse.
good.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, fucking, I think as individuals and as a couple, like, I think this is the happiest I could be individually. Even if I wasn't in this relationship, I would still be sober. And I think because I'm sober and you're sober, I think that's one of the biggest reasons this is the best. And the last relationship I'm going to be in.
And the strongest. Definitely the most stable.
So, last topic. So, we're feeling better. Dude, like, we seriously need to, like, really point out how much money we've saved you. Like our financial issues are gone. Like, we were both, like, kind of fucked when we started dating financially.
Yeah. It was hard. It was really hard.
I was 20 grand in debt. Credit score was shit. My car was all fucked up. What? What's making
That's
too much?
making noise.
Yeah. Dude, I was living paycheck to paycheck. Now I'm not. I could take like the next few months off and I'll be chill. And it's the first time that has happened in my business. And credit card debt wiped out. No car issues. Paid off. New bike. And I'm not talking about fancy. It's just not a lot. It's just like the first
just
time
got
in
your shit
10
together.
years, dude. Like fucking shit's paid.
You got it
I'm not
together and you
fucking
don't have to worry.
backed up on bills, you know? Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
you went out, 3 out of 4 weekends this month and now you're wondering how you're going to pay a bill because you fucking overdid it and you didn't plan and you were in the moment and having fun.
Yeah, and now that I'm not worried about food and shelter and rent and bills, now I can focus on things that really matter. You know, the relationship, our future, having a kid. You know, stuff like that. What actually makes me happy. But if you're just running around trying to pay the bills Monday through Friday and then getting drunk on the weekends because your life sucks and you hate your Monday through Friday and you hate your job, how are you going to get out of that rut? Your Monday through, like, that's what I started focusing on. I'm just looking forward to the weekend to have a good time for 2.5 days, and then 5 days a week my life sucks. And the only reason I'm waiting for the weekend and getting drunk is to forget about Monday that's coming and the Monday that went by. I'm like, why not just work on the weekends to fix that Monday through Friday? So I started working on the weekends, started building my business, started building my physique, started becoming a better person so that a good human being like you would pick me as a partner so I'm not lonely and miserable by myself. I started just doing that on the weekends. Hey, I'm just going to become the best version of myself. And the best version of myself is going to get what he deserves. Oh, and there you have it. A beautiful person, the love of my life, the person who makes me happier than any other person has. I have the physique that I've always wanted without the use of steroids. And I've had more money than I've ever had in my life, just because I stopped getting pissed drunk on the weekends and started using the weekends to set up my Monday through Friday right. Every weekend I'm excited. I'm like, man, I crushed this Monday through Friday. I did a podcast. I read books that are gonna improve my mind, right? Improve my intelligence. I was dialed in on my diet. I made some sales and I gave great fucking workouts to my clients. All my clients are happy. They're getting results. I made all these people happy, including myself, including my girlfriend, including these kitty cats trying to grab my feet. So now, from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm gonna prepare, recover, recuperate, do a bunch of work. So I'm gonna crush Monday through Friday again. That's what I focus on the weekends.
Dude, even if you're not like working on the weekends, like as long as you're not getting wasted starting Friday night and then Saturday you feel like doo-doo, so maybe you drink again, and then Sunday you're in bed all day and then it's back to work on Monday. What did you get done for yourself that entire weekend? Like, where did the time go? I remember, like, my house used to be just a freaking disaster because I would work all week. I would work such long hours. I would come home and just collapse. And then on the weekends, my first priority was like, what am I going to do for fun now that I had such a stressful week? But nothing was getting done on the back end. Like, I wasn't organized. I wasn't set up for success to have a future successful week. And it was just like this perpetuous like cycle. And it was hard. It made it hard.
And you think that, okay, if you're just doing okay Monday through Friday and you're paying your bills, you're just partying on the weekends, if you maintain your lifestyle, you're fine. But in life, you're never just maintaining anything. You're either moving up or you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
And over the years, you might think like, oh, I can afford to go out here and there, but like it's doing damage to your mental health, socially, your relationships. And no matter how much you try, eventually that income's gonna dip, those relationships are gonna dip, that mental health is gonna dip, and everything is gonna catch up to you. Why? Which is another point. Like, when we started drinking, when we were at an early age, 20, 21, where the fuck you started, because you're white.
Earlier than that.
Yeah, right. It was a lot of fun. Why did it go from like being really fun and cool and awesome to somewhat starting to become more depressing and bringing more anxiety? Do you think
I
that's like
think-
just a natural, sorry to interrupt you, natural progression of what alcohol eventually does to you?
I think so. But I think like you're just surrounding yourself with other people who have been doing the same thing for just as long, and you've all done nothing to improve yourselves for that long. And I don't know, when you're younger and you're doing it, like it's fun because it's new. And I feel like you always try and chase that like most fun time that you had. But it's never gonna be like that. And it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. More boring, less satisfying, more expensive. Trying to like chase that release or whatever it is that you feel when you want to drink, when you get drunk.
All of that is true. All of that. Like that first joy that you get initially goes away eventually because you get bored of it. That release goes away. But here's another thing that I'm thinking. You know, all that partying, all that social scene, the friends, you need to be cool. You know, I feel like we've been brainwashed by media and television, magazines, Hollywood, to replace just good old fashioned family time with friends, you know? It's not cool to go home and hang out with the fam. It's not cool to go hang out with the parents. It's not cool to hang out with your relatives, your aunts, your cousins, and all that stuff. It's cooler to be out in the social scene, to be out with friends, to be have 20 fucking friends 30 friends who show up to your birthday party. At least
Dude.
I'm sure some people are thinking like 30. Well, fuck that. I've seen people
No.
throw parties with like 50, 100 people in this huge extravaganza. So sorry, go ahead.
I just want to throw in there real quick. If you just quit drinking and see how many friends you have left. See how many quote unquote friends you have left when you stop drinking.
Yeah, if you're not gonna go out and get drunk. So that's another addition to the point. But yeah, so you told like, oh, it's cool to go out and do that. Going home with family, like when you tell somebody like, hey, what are you doing on if they ask you what are you doing on New Year's Eve, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out with the fam. Well, generally speaking, you're boring, right? You're a loser. Oh, I'm gonna hang out with the fam, you're not gonna do anything cool. So what it is by the time you get to in our 30s, mid 30s, 40s, and we keep doing that social scene, the only reason we're doing that, it's replacing what really matters is your wife, your kids, your uncles, your aunts, your actual family, your cousins, you know, that real family values. And the reason why it starts getting depressing in your 30s and 40s is because it did not fulfill the hole that was missing in your 20s, and it's still not fulfilling it now. The reason why I don't like going out and drinking and all that stuff is because I love staying home with you and the cats, and eventually when I have kids. Like now that I'm sober, now I haven't been home since 2000, and now I miss what I left behind. My uncles, my aunts, hang out with the cousins, just family, people who've had your back, who were your people since day one, who have no reason to be your friend, to love you than just because they're family. And that's why I think it starts getting nice, like really fucking depressing in your 30s, is because you start, some
You're like,
people
why am I
don't
wasting
realize-
my time
yeah.
with these douchebags?
Yeah, it's nothing.
And
There's
not with
no
people that
connection.
matter.
The only reason you stay connected and you talk about how much you love each other and your friends is because you're all fucked up. Yeah.
I love you so much. You're
Yeah,
my best
exactly.
friend.
Everybody loves each other when they're fucking drunk or on ecstasy.
It's true.
Yeah. So here's what I want to end with. So everybody talks about, because we're gonna have kids at some point, and soon maybe, probably, definitely. They talk about, oh, you have to try everything once in a while and once in your life, and you have to live a little bit, and you had to try out, and have to be free, and all that fucking nonsense. Would you go back in time and eliminate all the drinking you did in your earlier years?
100%.
Like, wouldn't you miss out on all those cool experiences and all that growth that you experienced as a person?
I didn't grow as a person. I got in debt. I got into trouble. I ended up in jail. Like, yeah, I got into fights with my sister all the time. Like, no, it was stupid. I didn't gain anything from drinking. I lost potentially good friendships, maybe tons of other opportunities.
I mean, you could have found a way better than me at way back then and had kids and all that stuff. Now that's an alternative reality because you can't imagine a life without me, and I understand it, and that's all cool. But if you really think about it, let's say I wasn't sitting over here and we weren't in a relationship, and both of us idiots when we were single at 37 and 36. That's absurd. Like that was literally, I mean, we got lucky we found each other, but seriously, if you really think about it, 50% of the people over 30 are single right now, and everybody's going around saying how it's fucking so hard to find a person. Yeah, because you're all a bunch of shitheads who've been pissing away their 20s drinking and just living a life of pleasure, of self-centered pleasure, and now you think you're going to be a good partner for somebody else. We had to learn that.
Yeah.
Remember, that's the first thing I said to you.
Yeah.
Number one thing both of us need to accept when we're getting into this relationship, that we're both shitheads who have been pissing our lives away.
Isn't it romantic, you guys?
Right? Because if we weren't, we would be in a long-term committed relationships, probably married and with kids.
Yeah. It's true, though.
Yeah. And that's where you're going to end up. Your mid-30s, single, not being able to find a partner because all you've done is drank your life away, not worked on self-improvement, not spend your time looking for a partner. And you're like, if you're a girl going out there, no good men out there. You're a guy going out there, no good girls out there. What makes you a good guy for somebody else? What makes you a good girl for somebody else? You're around the same type of individuals as yourself. So I would say to my daughter, to my son, to the kids, to the people who are still drinking, if you're in your 20s, dude, there's nothing you're going to gain. None of those experiences that you're thinking about are valuable. None of those experiences are going to matter when your life's in shit, when your mental health is in shit, or you have a tough time finding a partner. The true meaning of life is to live it and live it to the fullest. And the way you live it to the fullest is find that one partner, your do or die, that you can hang out with, that will have your back, who's going to celebrate with you, genuinely celebrate with you, not just fucking haha I'm going to show up and take a shot with you, genuinely be happy for you when you're winning, and genuinely have your back when you're down in the dumps. That's the meaning of like finding that partner and creating that loving, caring relationship, having kids, watching them grow up, like being around family, your parents, your uncles, your cousins. That's what it is. And the entire Hollywood, the entire media is having you chased fucking booze and parties and debauchery and all that nonsense. Dude, why are Hollywood people committing suicide? Why is Johnny Depp having a shitty relationship? Everybody talks about Leonardo DiCaprio, how he's with hotties. What kind of man goes through one girl after the other? Do you think that man is satisfied? Do you think that man is happy? I guarantee I'm happier than any Hollywood celebrity who's going through models after models. Anyways, I'm going on a rant. But yeah, right? Like you don't need to go through those partying years.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. I grew up in Pakistan.
A recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that shit, and I came over here living in San Diego. I was 24 when I moved to San Diego, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is what you do. This is what you go out." I did that for fucking a decade, and my life went to shit. I wasn't happy. I had done all the drugs, had the sex, fucking it was useless. I want to be one person. I want to be loyal, and I will be safe with her and create a beautiful life together.
Do you know what I remember always wondering during that crazy time of 20s and drinking and like trying to date people and being screwed over multiple times because I'm meeting assholes in a bar? I just always would be like, I don't understand. Like, why don't they see what good of a person I am? Because deep down, like, I felt like I was, but that's not the person I was putting out to the world when I'm out drunk and singing karaoke 5 out of 7 nights a week. Like, do you know what I mean? So of course I wasn't, but that was always what I thought. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why don't they see like I'm a good person or like,
I used to think like that too. Now I think about it, Mo, you were a drunk who did coke every once in a while, and you had no money, no ambition, waiting tables. What the fuck are you gonna bring to the table?
Yeah, you're really not putting your best self forward.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we should give them some advice, some tips, like things that we do, sober activities that maybe they could try if they're going to stop drinking. So like, what's your favorite activity of ours that we do on the weekends or whatever that doesn't involve drinking?
Besides sex.
This is a PG podcast.
Okay. By the way, bro, just so you know, you got to tell them. In San Diego, I am the first person on Saturday to have sex.
Oh my God, please stop.
6:30 every morning. Just so you guys know, we're talking shit about like you guys go out and party and all that stuff before you even wake up. Okay. So, yes, that is a challenge. But you know what? The first thing I'm going to start with, you're like, well, what do you do? What do you do when you're not drinking? That's one. What do you replace this? I'm going to say every single thing that we do, even the remedial fucking tasks that we do, give us more pleasure, and they're more meaningful, and they're more fun, and they're more enjoyable.
That's very true.
Like right now, it's 7:30. It's my Tuesday night. It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
I came down early. And dude, I was excited because I was just thinking about it when we were doing the podcast. I was looking at it as a chore and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, how many times that we, like, because we're usually just moving around, we get to sit down with each other and go on a date night. But it's a rare occurrence that a couple sits down, present, without weed, without booze, without shoving shit in, without being distracted. We're not watching a movie. We're not at a restaurant waiting for the food, interacting with the server, looking around. Just present. I was excited to sit down here and just have a conversation and hang out and do something. You know, what do we do? I mean, dude, every single night I'm looking forward to, because I pull in some hours.
Yeah.
I put in hours and I go long hours without eating, sleeping, and I just crush it. And what pushed me through the day? I let's say I'm working from, literally there are days when I'm booked. I don't even have 5 minutes to chill from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. You know what I'm looking forward to? Date night with you. I'm going to come home. We're going to take some steak out. We're going to make up something fancy. And we're going to have a conversation, drink some Diet Coke. And we're going to hang out, cuddle, watch some TV. Like, just those simple things are fun. Like that stuff that I was talking about Saturday morning. Yeah, the sexy time is fun. But just like waking up in the morning, laying in bed with you, making you coffee. There were, like, I haven't done this in a while, but there were times like on Saturday mornings I would just wake up extra early. And one of the most exciting things for me was when you would wake up, open your eyes, I had egg bites and coffee from Starbucks right next to you.
Sometimes you make me blueberry pancakes, protein pancakes.
Yes,
just wake up to that.
Like that, stuff like that. I mean, dude, like every once in a while, I smoke a cigar. We'd go on a walk, a stroll. Just that simple shit. We might be thinking it's boring, but it's so meaningful, dude. I've been single most of my life, and the relationship I've had was kind of rocky. I have a nice, pretty girl. I'm walking downtown, holding her hand. Just that alone It's fucking amazing. Now I know they're looking for some profound, cool things that we do. Like we do those too. Like we've gone to like random stuff. We've gone to psychic fairs, art shows, dude. And she wanted to go to what's that place, Hotel Del, for Christmas, and I'm like, that's silly. I mean, it's not really my thing. And I went over there, the lights were pretty, the ambiance was good. I started realizing all these things that were boring, that I used to think that was boring, like going on the beach for a stroll, or just getting on my motorcycle and just taking it out for a spin, just randomly for like 30 minutes, an hour. I used to think like all those things, well, the motorcycle part is pretty exciting, but just having a date night with your girlfriend, cooking dinner at home, just going for a nice stroll, all those things were boring. That's because I was just used to like just drowning myself in alcohol, and that's the only time I would have fun. When life is good, when you're present, when energy levels are high, when you don't have anxiety, when you don't have depression, when you're not worried about the bills, when you're not busy fighting with your girlfriend, everything's on point. Dude, just the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Like that hot cup of coffee in the morning is fucking amazing. Dude, yes, there are times where they're like, well, what the fuck should we do? And we spend 2 hours doing nothing. But dude, I'd rather spend 2 hours being a little bit bored here and there.
Yeah.
And not and then figuring out something exciting to do, or not figuring it out, than going over there and pissing away a bunch of money and waking up the next morning completely fucking depressed. And what else might happen? We go from being bored to having a fucking fight at night because we drank alcohol. That
And
ends
then
up
everything's in shambles.
So
Like, yeah.
I'd rather be a little bit bored and really, really happy than be really fucking excited and have a lot of fun and be a complete disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how's that for an answer?
I love that answer. I was going to say one of my favorite things to do is just going to the grocery store with you, which is a simple thing. Like you covered all the bases, but you just do have much more of an appreciation for life. Like, again, it's that cloud that's been lifted. You can see things for what they are. You can appreciate things for what they are. Have gratitude for the things that matter.
Yeah. But then again, I'm also the coolest person you could be going to the grocery store
That's
with.
true.
Yeah. Dude, in all honesty, like, I was kind of sad that you went to the groceries without me. I love going to the grocery store with you
I
and
just
acting a fool.
wanted to give you a break since you had a long day.
That was really, really nice of you. I love you.
I love you.
So I think we had a really, really good podcast.
Yeah.
We both drank a lot, and we're here to tell you after 2 decades of drinking, dude, it's not doing anything good for you.
Nope.
This is the happiest I've ever been.
Same.
This is the best relationship I've ever been in.
Same.
This is the most money I've ever had. This is the most respect I've ever had. This is the most love we've felt. This is the most I've loved a person in my relationship. And life is amazing.
I love you.
I love you too. Mwah. This was episode 33. Stop boozing and get jacked.
Woo woo.
I hope it's recording.
Oh my gosh, babe. Don't say such a thing.